The wind whistled across the white ice, carrying with it a chill that cut through the flesh. In the stillness of the northern sea, only the sound of the wind hitting the ice and the dry cracking sounds echoed from below the surface of the water. In the distance, on a floating ice floe, the silhouettes of seals lay motionless like dark grey rocks, occasionally lifting their heads, their round, black eyes reflecting the dull light of the sky. European hunters had been familiar with this scene for centuries, a place where life, death, and cold always blended together in a harsh dance of nature. Seal hunting is not only a traditional profession, but also a survival instinct. In places like Norway, Greenland, Iceland, or the northern islands of Scotland, people consider seal hunting as part of the culture. Every season, small boats leave the dock, squeeze through the narrow ice crevices, and head deep into the cold sea to find traces of that round-bodied, furry, sad-eyed creature. On the deck, the cold wind whips against the face, and the salt covers each layer of thick woolen coat. The men wear fur coats, woolen hats pulled low, and hold hunting sticks called hackapicks, a typical tool of seal hunters. The iron tip has a sharp, hooked tip, used to quickly finish off the animal. But behind this seemingly cruel tool is an art, a cold precision that the hunter has to hone over many years between life and death. On the white ice, the small footprints of baby seals lead the hunters deeper. Female seals often crawl onto the ice to give birth, choosing thick ice floes that are less exposed to strong winds. The newborn seals are covered in a layer of fluffy white fur, looking like a moving mass of snow. They don't know how to swim yet, just curl up, waiting for their mother to come up from the sea to feed them. And at that moment, the hunter appears, a brief moment between beauty and cruelty, between nature's instinct to protect its young and humans' need to survive. The hunter gave a signal, then a decisive swing of his stick, so fast that the naked eye could barely follow. The seal collapsed, unable to scream. A moment later, the ice was as quiet as if nothing had happened. Inside the hold, the temperature was only a few degrees higher than outside. The oil heater crackled, the smell of roasting meat and melted seal fat wafted out, mingling with the sound of the waves and the wind outside. Later, the ice was as quiet as if nothing had happened. Inside the hold, the temperature was only a few degrees higher than outside. The oil heater crackled, the smell of roasting meat and melted seal fat wafted out, mingling with the sound of seal is more than just an animal. For the people of the Arctic, it is a symbol of resilience, of adaptability and survival. In ancient Norse culture, the seal is also considered a spirit of the sea. Sometimes transforming into a human to test people's hearts. There are legends that if you kill a mother seal, its spirit will follow you forever, bringing endless storms. Therefore, many hunters always say a small prayer before they strike, not out of fear, but out of respect. When the hunting season ends, the sea opens up again, the ice melts, and the surviving seals return to the deep water. They swim nimbly, hunt fish, raise their young, and continue the cycle of life. On the shore, the hunter hangs the hakarpic stick on the wall, wipes off the blood, and puts the knife in the wooden chest. Another winter is coming, and they prepare for the next hunt, the endless circle of survival in the far north.
In the vast darkness of the ocean, modern squid fishing boats move silently through the waves, carrying a brilliant light like a floating city in the middle of the sea. No longer are the rough hands of fishermen pulling each fishing line in the bitter cold or in the salty rain. Today, technology has completely changed the way people hunt squid, the mysterious glowing creatures of the deep sea. On the deck, hundreds of automatic squid fishing machines are lined up in long rows. Each machine operates rhythmically and regularly like a mechanical army. Each fishing line is lower dozens of meters below the water surface. The end of the line is attached to a series of special hooks with glowing fake bait. When the high-pressure light shines down on the sea surface, thousands of squid are attracted by the turquoise light. They rush to surround the boat. Wave after wave of squid coming like clouds of bioluminescent creatures. The sound of a small electric motor rings out when the automatic fishing machine detects the pulling force from the squid biting the hook. The reels begin to spin, gently but firmly, pulling the struggling, heavy squid. In just a few seconds, it is lifted out of the water, thrashing violently. Spraying out a dark stream of ink and falling into the basket next to the machine. It all happens almost automatically, without the need for human hands to touch it. Electronic sensors mounted on the machine detect the weight and pulling force. Adjusting the reel speed accordingly so as not to tear the squid's body, extremely important for commercial fishing trips aimed at high-end exports. The entire ship operates like a giant machine. Where light, mechanics and technology blend together in the rhythm of the night sea. Inside the hold, the quick freezing system operates continuously. Each batch of squid is put into storage at sub-zero temperatures, preserving its freshness and characteristic color. The squid just pulled up still have a silvery sheen on their skin, their eyes reflecting the white light like two small pearls. The sailors only need to check, classify and record the data on the electronic board, all parameters about time, fishing depth, squid quantity, even seawater temperature are recorded and sent to the management center. These ships are equipped with radar, GPS positioning and sonar systems to detect squid schools within a range of dozens of nautical miles. When the radar detects signs of in the frigid waters of the North Atlantic, where silver-grey waves constantly crash against the hull. Modern fishing boats work day and night to hunt for cod, the iconic fish of the northern seas. The atmosphere on deck is always filled with energy and discipline. As the mist gradually clears, the radar, sonar and fish finder systems begin to emit signals, displaying thousands of bright spots on the screen, schools of cod moving in the deep water. In just a few minutes, the captain and engineer control the automatic net laying system. The giant nets are slowly lowered. The mouths of the nets opened by steel doors, passing through the layers of water where the cod are feeding. When the sensor signal is full, the giant hydraulic winch system begins to pull the net up. Each meter of steel cable whistling in the cold wind and salt water. When the nets are brought up to deck, hundreds of silver-white cod pour out, thrashing violently in the dim light. Workers quickly used steel hooks and thick rubber gloves to push the fish onto the conveyor belt. Here, modern technology began to participate. An automatic sorting system would be based on the weight, size and quality of each fish to divide into each grade. Large fish were brought to the processing area. Small or injured fish were transferred to the subline. All operations were continuous, precise and with almost no downtime. Inside the processing compartment of the ship, white light reflected on the shiny stainless steel surface. Dozens of workers dressed in pure white protective suits. Masks, goggles and gloves worked rhythmically in front of stainless steel operating tables. Each cod was placed on the table. Sharp scalpels slid lightly, splitting the head, gutting, removing the backbone and separating the fillets in just a few seconds. The ivory white, soft and thick fillets were put into a cold water washer to clean the blood and impurities, then transferred to the quick freezing area. The spiral freezer can cool the fish down to -40 degrees Celsius in just a few minutes, preserving the freshness, taste and texture of freshly caught fish. Meanwhile, in another compartment of the ship, the head, bones and organs of the cod are put to good use. A cooking and drying system turns them into fish meal, fish oil and byproducts for the pharmaceutical and animal feed industries. Nothing is wasted. Even the cod eggs are separated, salted and packaged to make premium caviar. Every part of the cod has value, and every process is strictly controlled according to European standards, ensuring safety. Hygiene and sustainability. The rumble of the engines echoes throughout the ship. Outside on deck, waves still crash in. But inside, the work never stops. Each catch is processed in less than 2 hours after leaving the sea. The cold storage system deep inside the ship holds hundreds of tons of cod fillets, neatly arranged in aluminium barrels. Between the long-standing fishing tradition and the relentless modernization, modern automated squid fishing is not only a step forward in fishing technology, but also a symbol of the change of the sea, where hard labor is replaced by intelligence, and the ocean becomes the great factory of the new century.
Achieving that precision requires decades of experience, thousands of hours of observation and practice in the icy wind. The old hunters say that hunting seals is not just about killing, it is about respecting nature. They kill quickly, without causing the animal any pain. Every part of the seal is used, the skin for coats. The meat for food, the fat for cooking oil, the bones for making tools. Nothing is wasted in a place where the cold makes every resource as precious as gold. Even with the development of modern technology, machines, guns, and large ships, many people still keep the traditional way of hunting, walking on the ice. Using hacker picks, because they say, that is how our ancestors survived, and so will we. On the deck, the smell of blood mixed with the smell of seal fat, creating the characteristic strong aroma of Arctic hunting trips. People skinned right on the ice, using sharp knives. Cut decisively, without hesitation, in the pale light of the winter sun. The golden blubber glistened like oil. Seals were a precious source of energy, rich in fat, and once helped people get through the long, sunless winters. The blubber could be used to light lamps for hours, while the meat was dried or cured for storage. The oldest hunters in northern Norway still remember the days when they followed their fathers to sea when they were 10 years old. When the ice began to melt in March, they packed up their belongings, prepared dried food, medicine, ammunition, and tools, and set sail for weeks at a time. The seas were anything but calm, sudden blizzards would come. The ice would break, and the ship would become stuck in huge patches of ice. But they did not turn back. They said the sound of the seals and the smell of the ice were what made them feel alive. Even in a place where even the slightest mistake could cost them their lives. Seals are gentle and intelligent creatures. They live in groups, diving into the deep sea to hunt fish and squid. When they come up to rest on the ice, they choose places near breathing holes so they can dive into the sea at the first sign of danger. The best hunters are those who can read the language of the ice. They look at cracks, colors, and sounds to predict where seals will appear. They can wait for hours just to see a black head emerge from the cold water. Each time, their heart beats faster, like the pulse of the sea when the wind blows hard against the ice. Today, many European countries have tightened regulations on seal hunting. Animal protection campaigns are widespread, and images of white-furred seal pups being killed have outraged many people. But for people in the Arctic, hunting is still an inseparable part of survival. They do not hunt to get rich, but to survive, to maintain a cultural chain that has existed for thousands of years. In small villages on the North Sea coast, you can still see seal skins drying on fences, hand-sewn fur clothes, and oil lamps lit every night by seal fat. On a spring hunting trip, a group of reporters followed 3 men from Tromsø, Norway. They left port when it was still dark, the sea shimmering with silver moonlight. The small boat rocked in the waves, the bow hitting the ice floes. When the first light glimmered on the horizon, the ice began to thicken. They turned off the engine and rowed slowly. The ice scraped against the hull, making a screeching sound like metal rubbing against metal. In the silence, the leader lifted his binoculars and scanned the ice. "There it is," he whispered. About 200 meters away, a group of seals lay sunning themselves. The approach began. They left the ship, stepped onto the ice, moving step by step, avoiding making any noise. The heavy stomping of their feet might crack the ice. Then, let's start that journey, a journey of the sea, of people who have chosen to live their lives with the wind and waves. With giant bluefin tuna weighing hundreds of kilograms, monsters of the ocean whose names alone make anyone who loves the sea excited. In the waters of America, from the Atlantic coast to the small ports of New England, tuna fishing season is not just a season for making a living, but also a season for awakening storm spirits. At night, the giant bluefin tuna fishing boats leave the port, the yellow lights from the deck like lonely flames in the deep ocean. The cold wind whips across the face. The salt covers the clothes. And at the bow of the boat, the old captain lights a cigarette, his eyes looking out to sea, where he knows the giant tuna are cutting through the deep waves. Bluefin tuna fishing is unlike any other kind of fishing. This is not a hobby. This is a war. Americans call it the fight of a lifetime. Bluefin tuna can weigh over 500 kilograms, swim faster than the boat, and their pull is enough to tear a steel line apart if the fisherman is not experienced enough. It all starts with patience. When the boat reaches the area where the fish are, the captain turns off the engine, letting the boat drift silently in the sound of the waves. The atmosphere is as tense as a string. Each hook is meticulously prepared. Each strand of line is carefully checked, because even the slightest scratch can ruin the dream. The bait, usually herring, small tuna or live squid, is skillfully hooked so that it maintains the most natural movement when sinking into the sea. American fishermen have a great skill in reading the waves and wind. They look at the color of the water to know the depth. Look at the birds to know where the fish are, and with just a strange movement on the surface of the sea, they can recognize the presence of a school of tuna. When the bobber bobs, everyone on board's heart beats in time. The first signal is usually very small, just a light pull like someone lightly touching the line. But if it's a real tuna, just a few seconds later, the reel will roar, spin with a metallic screech, and it all begins. The angler must hold the rod tight, lower the center of gravity, put his feet on the railing, and his whole body is tense like a bowstring. The tuna's first pull is a storm. It rushes like a bullet through the deep water, dragging hundreds of meters of line. The angler's hands are burning, his shoulder muscles numb, and the sound of wind and waves blends with the dry sound of the reel. The battle can last for hours. The tuna never gives up easily. When it dives deep, the line is tight. The angler must lower the rod, squeeze the line, and take advantage of each wave to pull up a little bit. Each time he pulls a few meters of line, it is a small victory. The captain shouted instructions. The crew kept the boat balanced. Others prepared the auxiliary hooks, gaff sticks and ropes. At times, the fish pulled the entire boat around itself, causing anyone who was not steady to fall. But then the moment the water surface boiled, white bubbles floated, and the giant silvery fish body gradually appeared in the water. That was the moment everyone's heart stopped beating. The bluefin tuna, with its solid body, dark blue fins sparkling with silver, hit the water surface hard, each tail stroke creating a loud bang like a cannon. The gaff holder rushed forward, stuck the hook into the fish's waist, and with a loud shout, the whole group pulled together. The giant tuna was brought up to the deck amidst cheers and exhaustion. On the deck, no one said much. Everyone knew they had just reached a rare victory. The tuna, weighing more than 300 kilograms, lay motionless, its skin shimmering in the early morning sun, like a living block of silver. The fishermen wiped their sweat, their hands shaking slightly from exhaustion, and immediately began the process of cooling the fish. The tuna's body temperature was very high when it was first caught, and if not properly cooled, the meat would spoil in just a few hours. They opened the lower abdomen, removed the organs, washed them with cold seawater, and put them straight into ice cells or cold storage tanks with circulating seawater. Every operation had to be precise and fast. Because bluefin tuna meat was a precious commodity, it could sell for tens of thousands of dollars at auction, especially if the meat was bright red. even, and undamaged. But behind the halo were months of hardship. Some trips lasted weeks, even months. The seas were not always calm. Storms came suddenly, waves were as high as walls. The ship rocked in the dark, and the fishermen had to tie themselves to the railing to avoid being thrown overboard. They ate instant noodles, cold sandwiches, and drank strong coffee to fight the cold. Each time they pulled in a fish, their bodies were exhausted, but no one complained. They loved that feeling, the feeling of a real fight, of competing with the most powerful creature in the ocean. 4. Or 544 5.000. In ports like Gloucester, Massachusetts, or Cape Cod, the harbor is packed with ships during the peak season. Each one bears the marks of the sea, salt corroding the paint. Tangled lines, rods as big as human torsos. In the morning, when the ships return, people gather to watch the giant fish being weighed. Many young fishermen still learn the trade from their ancestors, generation after generation. There are old men with white hair, who have been fishing tuna for 40 years, recounting legendary battles with hoarse voices and eyes that still shine like fire. Tuna fishing is not just about technique. It is about art and instinct. They must know how to read the sea, feel every current, even the smell in the wind. The best ones can recognize schools of tuna from just the slightest change in the water surface. They know what temperature tuna prefer, what currents, and even what bait is trendy that season. There are secrets that are kept like family heirlooms: the ratio of bait mix, the depth of the line, how to hook the bait to make it jump naturally. Many experienced fishermen even make their own equipment, from special hooks to special strong fishing lines, which they believe only they can control. When night falls, on the deck there is only the sound of the wind whistling through the mast and the sound of the waves.